right, we're up in Sonoma County at National Sales Meeting 2024 for the JB&A crew. And look, I've got a great opportunity to sit down and talk with some of the top minds in the tech industry for media and entertainment. And next up on the docket today is Jon Landman from Vislink. Now, Jon, you just joined Vislink. You've got like a history in this space coming from...
Well, I used to be a company called Teradek, which was known as the poor man's wireless, and I've definitely moved up to the rich man's wireless, right?
It is a slightly more expensive product, you're correct.
It is, but then how valuable is the video that you're transmitting, right? Yeah. Or how valuable is that shot that you're getting? If you need it to be guaranteed, Vislink's the way to go, right? But before I talk about technology, this place is beautiful. Thank you for the invite.
No worries.
It does not suck, I'll tell you that. I have to pretend it sucks to everybody else, but it's
we'll
very
keep
nice.
that secret between us. It's all good.
So we were just talking about the fact that Vislink's been around 50 years. Purveyors of COFDM. COFDM is or COFDM is the standard that's used to transmit broadcast quality video, at the Super Bowl, at an F1 race. Even today, churches are using it, schools are using it. They've shrunk down their devices to make them far more cost effective. And, as I was saying, what's the value of the video that you're shooting?
Yeah.
If you don't get that shot, then what's the point of having a wireless connection that's not reliable? So it's really exciting for me to work in that world. Now, as I was saying, I've also been in the bonded cellular world, right? So I've sold bonded units for years, and I know every player in the market, and I know the pros and cons of bonded cellular. Do you know the pros and cons of bonded cellular?
Well, one, you need to have a cell connection, because if you don't, there's your con.
I'll simplify it for you. Better. Okay. Bonded cellular is great at events people are running away from. Okay? When there's not a lot of people there, bonded cellular is great.
Because you're fighting for the same traffic.
When there's 100,000 people there all pulling out the phones, ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
So the magic of Vislink, or the luck that they have in owning a COFDM company and a bonded cellular company, they actually embedded the bonded cellular technology into the FPGA of the chip of the COFDM. So what does this mean? When there's 100,000 people there, COFDM will be used inside a stadium. COFDM, just like you would normally use it. But then, when you go out of the stadium to follow them on the bus, the cellular bonded will take over. So now you have complete transparency from cellular to COFDM throughout the whole chain. Nobody has that. Yeah. Nobody has that. And again, what's the value of the shots that you're getting? Now, you take the technology that we have from those two areas where we're taking an IP product and putting it into a COFDM product. The IP allows us to introduce that wonderful word AI, right? I mean, everyone's using it, but the guys at Vislink have spent, 3 or 4 years developing automated AI-related decision-making within the video supply chain, which is just going to make what we do better, faster, easier, and more cost-effective.
Well, and that was one of the first things that really turned my eye to Vislink when I started looking at the MVP line, the AI camera systems. Right. Because, I mean, everybody's been talking about AI this last year like it's something new, and there's been great AI development happening for several years, that are not maybe traditional, what we think of now as the LLMs, but just better decision-making tools, like the ability to follow action on field, with a multi-lens camera system to deliver the shot. Effectively.
And that's going to become more and more automated, right? When a camera can recognize a face, an eye, a look. You know, when I turn my face, it realizes it's seeing an ear.
Yes.
It will pull to a wide shot. You know, I can show you demonstrations where we've used the 4K cameras that we have, right, the IQ range, that are tied together, make one picture that is then, AI is used to pull out the images from each. So we're making one 1080p out of a canvas of the whole field. So the training that we have at the moment is, let's say we're doing a football game, so you'd mark the ball with an X and it would track that ball, but you can also say track that player, and that player, and that player, and give me 30% of him, 20% of him, and it will start producing you.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying
we're not replacing Silas over here, but
well, we could. Not yet, though. Not yet. Not yet, though. And the way that I see it is that you'd have one of the IQ, and then you'd have another couple of cameras as well. It's to augment what you've done, not replace what you've done.
And I think that's really, you know, we talk a lot about AI, and you know, there's always the AI is going to replace, AI is going to replace. But I think you hit it better. It's AI is going to augment.
Right.
AI is going to allow us to make better decisions.
Right.
AI is going to be additive with an extra shot that almost would be impossible for a human to get, right? But we still have humans to get the rest of the story. You know, so I think it's always going to be an augment of what we're doing.
It is, and I still think that we're a few years away from it being used daily to make video-centric decisions. So I think it's at a good time, and again, that's what's interesting about working for Vislink. They really kind of have been able to cross the IP cloud divide and make a better company. Yeah. So I'm really excited to be there. I looked at several companies when I left Teradek. Was really looking for an exciting company, and I've definitely fallen into working with a really good team.
Well, and it's interesting because I look at whenever I look at a company, evaluate and say, is this something I want to get behind? I try to see, like, what else is there? What is their portfolio? Do they just do one thing and do it really well, or are they thinking about the bigger picture, right? And how the camera systems ties into the broadcast system, how it all comes together. And that's what I love about their IQ system, and especially the studio one, because it's backhaul is a piece of what you need in life. But you can produce more content if you have more studios operational, and the IQ system allows for that.
Have you seen the trolley system?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is so sweet. It was delivered to my room yesterday, right? And I've dealt with PTZs. I've dealt with taking the output of a PTZ and plugging it into an encoder, getting it to go somewhere, finding out that the firewall has blocked me, finding out that ports have been closed, finding out that, it's a splash screen that I can't get past. And it's frustrating, right? You have to have so much engineering skill to be able to do such a simple thing of put a PTZ in this hotel and get a feed out.
Well, not just get a feed, get control of it remotely.
And control, right?
Yes.
I turned this thing on and it just connected. And why? Because it's got inbuilt connectivity that's already been pre-designed to go up to the cloud. So I didn't have to find any connection here. And I got a beautiful 4K image going straight up to the cloud, where that can then be sent to social, to decoders, you name it.
Yep.
But it makes my life easy as an engineer. I mean, are you streaming live any of this? Why not? Because it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's complicated. And these tools that Vislink is giving you, or Mobile Viewpoint, are just making things real easy now. And
no, it's an exciting year for them, and I'm glad we're.
I mean, I'm sure you guys, you at JB&A build a lot of studios within organizations, AV rooms, right? And I'm sure you sell a lot of PTZ cameras, right? So why not augment that PTZ camera with this trolley system so that it can be mobile?
Yeah.
One day it's working in the studio, the next day you want to take it out on the road with you. and it's a self-contained
Well,
box.
it's always the story, too, that in all these corporate studios, oftentimes the CEO doesn't want to leave his desk. And the ability to just send that down to him. Or, more importantly, nowadays, we see more and more of them working from home.
Absolutely.
They're not even coming to the office, but then the complication is, how do I get a signal out of them? How do I get control of the camera? How do I make sure it always looks good? And this sort of becomes the answer to that. Send them the box, and the rest is history.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. I think it's going to be a huge hit in the industry that you're in.
No, we're excited for it.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because it complements what you're doing already. You know, the opposite of the CEO being at his home is that the engineer is at his home, and he can't be in the studio when the CEO can be there. So the fact that he can control the whole shop from home without worrying about connectivity is priceless.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Now, it's going to be a good year. So now you guys are going to be at NAB this year.
We are.
You're going to be showing off there. So it's a great chance for people to get in front of it and see this gear in person. It's going to be an exciting year for it. Jon, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being with the show. This has been another hit in Sonoma. What's happened in the tech industry? Big thanks to Jon Landman for joining us from Vislink, and we'll see you all on the next episode.